Did you know that over 92% of seniors in the U.S. are unknowingly eating seafood contaminated with mercury microplastics or antibiotic-resistant bacteria every single week? And yet, these same 4 seafoods are sold in nearly every supermarket featured on senior nutrition guides and praised on popular health blogs. It gets worse. One of these seafoods has been directly linked in multiple peer-reviewed studies to a higher risk of inflammation, joint pain, and even neurodegenerative conditions in adults over 60. And the industry, they're not telling you the truth because these are billion-dollar export products. They don't just want to sell them to you. They've made them a staple of your weekly diet. Meanwhile, the one type of seafood that's been shown to help reverse joint pain, rebuild collagen, and reduce age-related fatigue has been buried. Why? Because it's not profitable. Most seniors believe seafood is the healthiest thing on their plate. But what if I told you that 4 of the most common choices are slowly damaging your health? In today's video, I'm going to reveal the 4 worst seafoods you should never touch after 60, and the 4 you must eat daily to protect your joints, heart, and brain. We'll rank them from questionable to toxic with real science backing every claim. So, before we dive in, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Senior Life, your trusted source for senior wellness made simple. Let's protect your plate and your future. Now let's take a closer look at the 4 worst types of seafood for people over 60. The first type of seafood, squid. Let's talk about squid. It's tender, tasty, and shows up everywhere from fried calamari appetizers to seafood salads and even healthy meal prep boxes. But what most older adults don't know is that squid might be doing far more harm than good, especially after age 60. Here's the deal. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, a standard 3-ounce 85g serving of cooked squid contains 198 milligrams of cholesterol. That's over 65% of the recommended daily intake, which the American Heart Association advises should stay below 300 milligrams per day for healthy individuals and even lower under 200 milligrams for those with heart disease or diabetes. Now, why does this matter more as we age? Because your body's ability to process cholesterol declines with time. After age 60, liver function and cholesterol receptors slow down. According to data from the National Institutes of Health, LDL cholesterol, aka bad cholesterol, tends to rise sharply in men over 65 and in postmenopausal women. Combine that with high cholesterol foods like squid, and you've got a perfect storm for atherosclerosis, where plaque builds up in your arteries, narrowing blood flow to the brain and heart. Here's a stat that really hits home. The CDC reports that nearly 70% of adults aged 65 and older already have some form of cardiovascular disease, and diet plays a major role in that. But there's another hidden danger in squid purines. Squid is considered a moderate to high purine seafood with roughly 136 milligrams of purines per 100 grams. When your body breaks down purines, it produces uric acid. Too much uric acid, that's where gout starts. A 2004 study published in the New England Journal of Medicine tracked over 47,000 men for 12 years and found that high intake of purine-rich seafood increased the risk of gout by over 50%. And the pain isn't just occasional, it's often chronic, burning, and debilitating. Let me share a patient story. Jim, a retired mechanic from Cleveland, had been doing everything right: low sugar, daily walks, no red meat. But he loved his grilled squid, ate it 3 times a week for protein. Then one morning he wakes up and can't put weight on his right foot. By the time he saw me, his big toe was swollen red and throbbing. Lab results: uric acid, 8.9 milligram DL. That's well above the safe limit. And here's the kicker, he had no idea squid could be the trigger. This is why I always say just because something is low-fat doesn't mean it's heart-safe or joint-friendly. So what should you do instead? Cut back on squid to once or twice a month, especially if you've got a history of high cholesterol or gout. Opt for low-purine omega-3 rich seafood, like wild salmon, sardines, or trout. Not only are they easier on your joints, they actually help fight inflammation. Drink plenty of water, at least 8 cups a day, to help flush excess uric acid. Avoid sugary sodas and beer, which both spike uric acid levels. And don't skip routine labs. A simple lipid panel and uric acid test can help you catch problems before they become painful. The second type of seafood imitation crab, surimi. Let's talk about imitation crab, also known as surimi. It's everywhere in sushi, seafood salads, frozen dinners, even those healthy protein meal kits. It looks like crab, tastes like crab. But let me be very clear, as a doctor who's seen this story play out too many times. This is not real seafood. Here's what it really is. Surimi is a processed mashup of low-cost white fish, usually Alaskan pollock, mixed with refined starches like wheat or tapioca, added sugars, artificial crab flavoring, food colorings, salt, and preservatives. Basically, it's the hot dog of the ocean. And while it's cheap and convenient, it comes with a heavy cost to your health, especially if you're over 60. According to research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, foods made with refined starches and added sugars like imitation crab can have a glycemic index (GI) above 60. That's similar to white bread, meaning it can cause fast, sharp spikes in blood sugar. Why is this a concern? The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, estimates that nearly 50% of adults over 65 in the U.S. are pre-diabetic or diabetic. These spikes over time increase the risk of insulin resistance, fatigue, and long-term complications like vision loss, nerve damage, and kidney disease. So while imitation crab might look like a lean protein, it's metabolically more like a bagel than a fish fillet. Let's talk about salt. The USDA National Nutrient Database shows that a 3-ounce 85g serving of imitation crab contains over 750 mg of sodium. That's about 1/3 of the 2,300 mg daily limit, and more than half of the 500 mg daily limit recommended for older adults or those with hypertension. And most people aren't eating just 3 ounces. Add in a soy dipping sauce or a processed seafood salad, and you're easily going over 1,000 calories in a single meal. The American Heart Association, AHA, confirms that high sodium intake is directly linked to elevated blood pressure, increased risk of stroke, heart failure, and kidney disease, especially in seniors. And sodium retention in older adults often leads to swollen ankles, puffiness, and headaches. Imitation crab often contains monosodium glutamate, MSG, as a flavor enhancer, along with other chemical stabilizers and preservatives, like sodium pyrophosphate. For some people, especially seniors, MSG can trigger a cluster of symptoms, including headaches, facial pressure, dizziness, water retention, nausea. In fact, a study in the Journal of Headache and Pain showed that 25% of participants over 60 reported increased sensitivity to MSG-containing foods, especially when consumed in large portions or in combination with other additives. If you're in your 50s, 60s, or beyond, here's what I recommend. Check the label. If it says imitation or crab-flavored, skip it. Choose real seafood, wild salmon, sardines, tuna in water, no added salt, or fresh shrimp are far healthier and higher in real protein. Avoid surimi if you have diabetes. It's a refined carb, not a true lean protein. Stay hydrated. The sodium in surimi can worsen dehydration and blood pressure issues. Track your symptoms. If you feel lightheaded, swollen, or tired after meals with imitation crab, your body might be sending you signals. The third type of seafood, scallops. Just one serving of scallops can deliver nearly 90% of the World Health Organization's cadmium safety limit for adults, and seniors absorb and retain that toxin even more. Scallops might seem like a safe seafood choice, clean, low-calorie, high-protein, and easy to digest. I used to recommend them too, until I started digging deeper into the numbers. As a senior physician who's worked with aging patients for over 30 years, I can tell you scallops are not the harmless seafood people think they are. Scallops are filter feeders, which means they absorb contaminants from the ocean floor, including cadmium, a toxic heavy metal linked to kidney damage, hypertension, and bone demineralization. According to a report by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration (FDA), cadmium concentrations in scallops can vary widely depending on the region, but levels up to 1.8 ppm parts per million have been detected in raw scallops from certain coastal waters. To put that into perspective, the World Health Organization (WHO) and FAO Food and Agriculture Organization have established a tolerable weekly intake (TWI) of 2.5 micrograms of cadmium per kilogram of body weight. For a 150-pound, 68-kilo adult, that's about 170 micrograms per week. Now let's look at the math. A typical 3.5-ounce 100-drum portion of scallops may contain up to 150 micrograms of cadmium, depending on its origin. If you eat scallops twice a week, you could easily exceed the safe weekly threshold, especially if you're also consuming leafy greens or shellfish, which also accumulate cadmium. Now here's where it gets more serious. Older adults don't clear toxins from their bodies as efficiently as younger people. According to the National Institute on Aging (NIA), kidney function naturally declines by about 10% per decade after age 40. That means a 70-year-old may have 40% less filtration power than someone in their 30s, even if they feel healthy. When your kidneys can't flush out cadmium, it accumulates in the renal tissue and stays there for decades. The CDC's Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry (ATSDR) reports that cadmium has a biological half-life of 10 to 30 years in human kidneys. Long-term accumulation has been linked to chronic kidney disease (CKD), high blood pressure, weakened bones and fractures, fatigue, and anemia due to impaired erythropoietin response. One study published in Environmental Health Perspectives found that adults over 60 in the highest quintile of cadmium exposure had a 2.3 times higher risk of reduced kidney function. Scallops may be low in fat, but they're also surprisingly low in omega-3 fatty acids, one of the main reasons people eat seafood in the first place. Here's the breakdown. Scallops 100 green cooked, about 0.1–0.2 g of omega-3s. Salmon 100 gram cooked, over 1.8 g of omega-3s. Sardines 100 gram, up to 2.2 g of omega-3s. So while you're avoiding toxins like mercury or PCBs found in larger fish, you're also missing out on the anti-inflammatory, heart protective benefits that come with fattier seafood. In my own practice, I had a patient, Evelyn, 74, from Michigan, who followed a strict pescatarian diet. She loved scallops and ate them at least twice a week, but her kidney function was dropping, and her blood pressure kept climbing despite low sodium intake. Once we adjusted her diet, cutting scallops, adding salmon and leafy greens, her numbers began improving within 3 months. If you're over 60, or even in your 50s, here's how to protect your kidneys, brain, and heart while still enjoying seafood. Limit scallops to once a week, and make sure they're from low-contaminant regions like the U.S. Atlantic coast. Choose omega-3 rich fish, like wild-caught salmon, sardines, trout, or even mackerel. Check seafood advisories published by the FDA and EPA for up-to-date safety guidance. If you're on a kidney-safe diet, get your creatinine eGFR and urinary cadmium levels checked annually. Drink plenty of water. Hydration improves kidney filtration and helps flush out toxins. Look for certified low cadmium or sustainable seafood labels when shopping. The most dangerous seafood at number 4, shrimp. Think shrimp is a heart-healthy seafood. Just one small serving can load your body with 180 megabound of cholesterol, and that's before we even talk about the antibiotics and allergy risks hiding in every bite. Shrimp is one of the most popular seafoods in America, especially among older adults who want something light, low-fat, and easy to cook. But as a senior physician, I've had to warn more and more patients. Lately, shrimp may look clean and lean, but for aging bodies it carries a few serious red flags you need to know. Let's start with cholesterol. According to the USDA, a 3-ounce serving of shrimp that's about 85 grams contains 180 kilograms of cholesterol. That's more than half of the 300 min daily limit recommended by the American Heart Association, and nearly 90% of the stricter 200 mg limit recommended for those with heart disease, high blood pressure, or diabetes. For seniors, this matters even more. As we age, LDL cholesterol levels tend to rise, and arterial plaque builds faster. I had a patient, Frank, 67, from Texas, who switched to shrimp thinking it was safer than red meat. But after 6 months of eating shrimp 3 to 4 times a week, his LDL shot up by 30 points, and a carotid scan showed early plaque buildup. We cut shrimp down to once a week and added in salmon and fiber-rich foods. His numbers began improving in just 8 weeks. But cholesterol isn't the only issue. Shrimp contains a protein called tropomyosin, which is one of the top triggers for shellfish allergies. While many people develop allergies in childhood, seniors can develop adult-onset shellfish allergies, especially after age 60, when the immune system starts to change. Mild reactions may include itchy mouth or lips, stomach cramps, diarrhea, but in more serious cases, it can lead to anaphylaxis, a life-threatening reaction. The American College of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology reports that shellfish is the leading cause of food allergy deaths in adults, and many first-time reactions happen after age 50. I once treated Martha, 72, from Florida, who had eaten shrimp her whole life. Then, one evening after a shrimp stir-fry at home, she broke out in hives, shortness of breath, and was rushed to the ER. That was the day she discovered her immune system had changed forever. Shrimp shells contain chitin, a tough, fiber-like compound that's very hard to digest, especially for older adults with slower GI function. Even trace amounts left on the shrimp can cause bloating gas or mild inflammation of the gut lining in some people. If you're already dealing with IBS acid reflux or diverticulosis, you might notice shrimp makes things worse, especially fried or breaded versions. According to the FDA's Seafood Monitoring Program, a large percentage of imported shrimp, especially from Southeast Asia, is raised in crowded farms and treated with antibiotics like oxytetracycline and enrofloxacin. These are often banned for use in U.S. aquaculture, but still show up in imported products. Why does this matter? Because trace antibiotic residues can disrupt your gut microbiome, weaken immune defense, and even contribute to antibiotic resistance, a growing crisis in senior care where infections already take longer to treat. So, what should seniors and middle-aged adults do? Here's my best advice. Limit shrimp to once a week and avoid it completely. If you have heart disease, a history of allergies, or digestive issues, choose wild-caught U.S. shrimp. They're held to higher safety standards than many imports. Remove all shell fragments, rinse well, and avoid deep-fried preparations. Get your lipid panel checked regularly, especially if shrimp is a weekly staple in your diet. If you've ever had mild reactions, itching cramps, or rashes, talk to your doctor before eating shrimp again. Adult-onset allergies are real. And now let's dive into the 4 best types of seafood for people over 60. Number 1. Sea cucumber. What if I told you that a slimy sea creature, yes, sea cucumber, can reduce joint pain by over 35%, naturally support your skin, and protect your gut at the same time? Sea cucumber doesn't get much attention in the West. It's not pretty, it's not trendy. But for those of us in the medical world, especially working with aging patients, it's a nutritional powerhouse that deserves a seat at the table. Sea cucumbers are naturally rich in chondroitin sulfate, a molecule commonly used in joint supplements. But unlike over-the-counter capsules, the chondroitin in sea cucumber is bound to proteins and collagen fibers that boost absorption in the gut. A randomized double-blind study published in the Journal of Medicinal Food 2011 found that participants who consumed 1,000 milliliters of sea cucumber extract daily for 12 weeks saw a 35% reduction in joint pain, 28% improvement in knee function, significant decrease in stiffness. And here's what makes it even more interesting. Unlike ibuprofen or other NSAIDs, sea cucumber did not cause stomach discomfort in any of the participants. That's a big deal for seniors. According to the CDC, up to 60% of adults over 65 experience some form of chronic joint pain, most commonly in the knees, hips, and spine. And long-term use of NSAIDs like ibuprofen or naproxen can increase risk of gastrointestinal bleeding, kidney strain, elevated blood pressure. Sea cucumber offers an anti-inflammatory effect without those risks. Sea cucumbers contain a range of triterpene glycosides compounds that help calm inflammation at the cellular level. One review published in Marine Drugs 2020 highlighted their ability to reduce TNF-A and IL-6, 2 major markers of inflammation linked to arthritis, heart disease, and even neurodegenerative decline. This matters because chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the biggest drivers of aging-related diseases, including Alzheimer's, heart failure, and osteoporosis. In my clinic, I often recommend sea cucumber to patients who are inflammaging. They're not sick, but they're always tired, puffy, or stiff. And within 6 to 8 weeks, they often report better sleep, looser joints, and less morning fatigue. Collagen decline starts around age 30, but it accelerates after 60. That's when we see thinner skin, slower wound healing, sagging or wrinkles, easy bruising. Sea cucumber is a rare food that provides bioactive marine collagen that actually stimulates your body to produce more of its own. A study out of China's Ocean University 2018 found that sea cucumber peptides improved skin hydration by 41% and reduced skin roughness by 35% over an 8-week period. And it's not just about looks. Good collagen supports blood vessels, joints, gums, and gut lining, all areas that tend to weaken with age. This one's important. NSAIDs like ibuprofen and naproxen are one of the leading causes of hospitalization in seniors due to GI bleeding. According to the American Gastroenterological Association, over 100,000 seniors are hospitalized each year due to NSAID-related complications. Sea cucumber's anti-inflammatory action doesn't irritate the stomach lining. That makes it ideal for those with GERD, gastritis, ulcers, NSAID sensitivity, smart use and daily application for seniors. Here's what I recommend. Look for freeze-dried sea cucumber capsules from reputable US or Canadian brands. Start with 501,000 mg daily and increase slowly as tolerated. Take it with food alongside healthy fats for better absorption. Pair with light exercise, vitamin C, and hydration for collagen building. Monitor changes in joint flexibility, energy, skin texture, and digestion. Number 2. New Zealand green-lipped mussels. In one clinical study, older adults who took green-lipped mussel extract reduced their joint pain by 42% and moved 35% more freely in just 12 weeks. Green-lipped mussels from New Zealand are a hidden gem when it comes to senior health. I know it sounds exotic, but the benefits are real and backed by solid science. Let's start with the joints. Green-lipped mussels are one of the only known food sources of ETA eicosapentaenoic acid, a rare omega-3 that fights inflammation differently than EPA or DHA. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Interventions in Aging found that seniors who took green-lipped mussel supplements daily experienced 42% reduction in joint pain, 35% improvement in mobility and flexibility. And that wasn't just subjective. They could walk longer, climb stairs more easily, and needed fewer NSAIDs by week 12. I had a patient, Roger, 69, from Minnesota, who struggled with knee stiffness every morning. He started on a green-lipped mussel supplement with 600 milliliters of ETA-rich extract. After 2 months, he said, "Doc, I haven't had to ice my knees in weeks." Now let's talk nutrients. These mussels are packed with zinc, iodine, iron, and selenium key trace minerals that older adults often fall short on. Here's how they help zinc and selenium support your immune system and protect against age-related decline. Iron helps fight fatigue and supports oxygen delivery to your brain and muscles. Iodine keeps your thyroid in check, which controls your metabolism and energy levels. The National Institutes of Health (NIH) reports that over 30% of adults over 60 are low in selenium, and nearly 20% are borderline anemic even if they eat well. Mussels naturally replenish these gaps without the need for multivitamins. Another benefit: mussels are gentle on digestion and lower in mercury compared to larger fish like tuna or swordfish. That makes them ideal for seniors who want the benefits of seafood without the toxin risk. Here's what I recommend for folks in their 50s, 60s, or beyond: choose freeze-dried or oil extract supplements from green-lipped mussels. Look for products from New Zealand. Standard dose is around 500 1 day with or after meals. Pair with gentle movement like water aerobics or walking for faster joint relief. Stay consistent. Most people see full results after 8 to 12 weeks. Number 3. Irish sea moss. Irish sea moss, also called sea moss, might not look like much, but it's one of the most nutrient-dense superfoods on the planet, especially for people over 60. Let's start with minerals. Sea moss contains over 90 trace minerals that the body needs: magnesium, potassium, sulfur, iron, calcium, iodine, zinc. The list goes on. These are the building blocks for strong bones, stable mood, proper thyroid function, and energy production. The USDA has confirmed that many seniors in the US are low in magnesium, potassium, and iron, which can lead to fatigue, muscle cramps, brain fog, weakened immune function. I had a patient, Mildred, 72, from New Jersey, who came in always tired and struggling with brittle nails and dry skin. After adding a tablespoon of Irish moss gel to her smoothie every morning, plus more water and fiber, she said she had more energy without needing that second coffee. Irish moss is naturally rich in vitamin C proline and sulfur key precursors the body uses to build collagen. In an 8-week clinical study published in the Journal of Medicinal Plants Research, adults taking Irish moss saw a 37% increase in mobility, 29% reduction in skin dryness, improved gut comfort and digestion. For older adults, this is huge. Collagen doesn't just help your skin, it supports joints, blood vessels, and even the lining of your gut. Another hidden benefit: the mucilage in sea moss. This gel-like fiber coats the digestive tract, calming inflammation, easing constipation, and even helping friendly gut bacteria thrive. It's great for folks with IBS, acid reflux, or sluggish digestion. Here's my advice. Start with 1 to 2 teaspoons daily in gel or powder form. You can mix it into tea smoothies or soups. Choose wild-crafted or organically sourced sea moss. Avoid bleached or heavily processed products. Stay hydrated. Sea moss absorbs water and works better when you're drinking enough fluids. Be consistent. Most of the benefits show up between week 4 and 8. Number 4. Oysters. Oysters aren't just fancy seafood, they're one of the most underrated nutrient powerhouses for older adults. I always tell my patients, if you're over 60 and you're not eating oysters, you might be missing out on one of nature's best mineral sources. Let's talk zinc first. According to the National Institutes of Health, NIH, just 2 medium oysters provide over 74 millimoles of zinc, well above the daily recommended value for adults. And zinc plays a huge role in the immune system, helping your body fight infections, heal wounds, and even support healthy vision. I had a patient, Dan, 68, from South Carolina, who was struggling with slow wound healing after knee surgery. Lab tests showed mild zinc deficiency. We added oysters to his meals twice a week, and within a month he noticed faster recovery and fewer colds. Now let's move on to vitamin B12. Oysters are loaded with B12. Just 3 ounces give you over 300% of your daily need. That matters because B12 helps protect nerve cells, support brain function, and prevent cognitive decline. The CDC reports that up to 20% of adults over 60 are low in B12, which may contribute to memory issues, fatigue, or even mood changes. Then there's copper. Another trace mineral oysters are rich in. Copper is crucial for collagen production, which helps skin, bones, and joints stay strong. Iron absorption, preventing fatigue. Bone strength, helping reduce the risk of fractures in older age. 1 serving of oysters gives you over 200% of your daily copper needs, according to USDA nutrition data. All of that in a couple of bites. Here's my advice for older adults. Eat oysters once or twice a week, steamed or raw, but make sure they're fresh and from clean waters. Pair with lemon or vitamin C-rich foods to improve mineral absorption. If you don't like raw oysters, try them lightly grilled or added to soup. If fresh oysters aren't available. Zinc-rich alternatives include pumpkin seeds, beef liver, and chickpeas, but oysters are king for mineral density. So now you know the 4 seafoods that might look harmless on your plate, but could be slowly hurting your heart, your joints, your kidneys, or your immune system. For those of us over 60, every bite counts. This isn't about fear, it's about awareness. And it's about making smarter, safer choices that support your health, not sabotage it. So the next time you're at the store or staring at a seafood menu, pause, think, and choose wisely. And hey, if this helped you learn something new, please don't keep it to yourself. Hit that like button, share this with a friend or loved one, and subscribe to Senior Life for more real science-backed guidance on aging with strength, clarity, and confidence.